Thanks and top stories. Following the death of the stress message to Cameroon's First Lady, Chantal Biya, for action to save her husband and customer, and the Fulani population following years of tension exacerbated by the Anglophone crisis. We take up from the Mungo division, that is in Melon, where the population remains in shock following the death of a nursing mother with her twin children to unravel the unfortunate situation.
Anguished cries of a family struck by an unthinkable loss. On Monday night, November 24, 2024, a mother and her two infants passed away shortly after consuming a meal prepared by a neighbor. The dish, known locally as pile, made with beans and plantains, was the last meal the victims would eat. This tragedy began to unfold at around 10 p.m. when the mother and her children went to bed after dinner. A few minutes later, the brother-in-law of the deceased mother was alarmed by the piercing cries of one of the twins. Despite the swift actions to seek help, the mother and her children could not be saved.
Les enfants étaient là en train de jouer. Elle se lève maintenant et dit que dis au grand-père, bonne nuit, on pas dormi. Elle entre dans la chambre.
The family has been left inconsolable, grappling with the sudden and devastating loss. Friends and neighbors have gathered to offer their condolences and support, but the grief is palpable as they process the tragedy. Medical personnel from the Melon District Hospital were called to the scene to examine the bodies before transferring them to the morgue. Preliminary findings suggest that food poisoning might have been the cause, but conclusive results are pending further investigation. Meanwhile, gendarmes from the Melon Brigade have launched a thorough of the meal, though forensic analysis is still underway to confirm the exact cause. This heartbreaking incident has left Melon residents in shock as they await answers
Of the government that rumors of his death, the wife who is in
of her husband's death,
who sees this opportunity to harm him like this much.
The family with heavy hearts continue to decry the silence of authorities over the kidnapped servant of the state.
Cameroonians have abandoned, and so far the state is not saying anything. I have not had any call from his ministry.
Rendered sick by the unfortunate situation, she cries out to the First Lady to help retrieve the civil administrator. To record that the pirates continue to demand land.
Thanks very much. Donga Mantung and the native resort. Details with.
For the past 5 months, there has been rising tensions between the native communities of Donga Mantung Division in the northwest region of Cameroon and the Fulani population, with most recent cases being that of the sub-village. Following the exacerbated tension, the Nkambet town of Donga Mantung Division witnessed a significant move in its pursuit of peace and reconciliation as traditional leaders and community representatives came together to bury past grievances.
Great day in the history of Donga Mantung Division. Falls. 5 subdivisions. Enough is enough for whoever wants to set confusion. Enough is enough for whoever wants to set confusion between the population of Donga Mantung Division.
Organized by the Donga Mantung Funds Union, Domafu, it is aimed at fostering love, unity and peaceful coexistence, and a tribute ritual conducted by the Fund of Nkambe. The ritual, which sought to bring blessings to positive actions and declare doom on negativity, set the tone for renewed harmony in the region. Reflecting on the historical relationship between the indigenous and Bororo communities, the leaders acknowledged that peace had largely prevailed before the Anglophone crisis turned into armed conflict. They vowed to take the message of reconciliation and harmony back to their villages and communities.
Total integration, total tolerance. As we have said, we forgive and forget. Meaning that you should not again accuse your neighbor. When you see Mboro coming, don't be afraid.
The peace caravan follows a meeting 2 months earlier between the Domafu delegation and the Prime Minister, Chief Joseph John Guti, in Yaoundé.
Well, thanks very much, Sharifa Saleh. Access to quality health remains a major challenge to many Cameroonians. High cost of Medicare and insufficient facilities have actually pushed Cameroonians to mourn after what they know to have been, of course, servant has opted to invest in the Medicare service. We're having indications that that report is still on the way. The Douala Military Hospital has launched a free consultation campaign targeting 3,000 people for the end of year. As, of course, they want to help the vulnerable population. This is going to take place at a reduced cost. Sheriff Asale reports.
A new healthcare initiative at the Douala Military Hospital is bringing hope to thousands. The free consultation campaign, which began on November 25, is designed to prioritize the health of vulnerable individuals during the festive season.
Et du coup, je veux voir si je peux profiter de la suite de ces examens sur le jour de la campagne.
I just happened to come here today with my in-law, and coincidentally I met this campaign. I really give praises to the organizers, those who have organized this campaign for Cameroonians like us, so that I can benefit. Here is a 10% benefit of each drop you buy.
Comme on a lancé la campagne, il a dit que mieux je viens me faire consulter pour avoir une réduction.
Organizers say the campaign targets 3,000 people, providing not only free consultations, but also financial relief for medical follow-ups. Prescribed medical exams are discounted by 50% through the end of December 2024. The prescribed drugs come with a 10% discount.
Zone, we think that it is important for us to bring the health to those populations who are suffering the Southwest. That's why we thought that it is important for them to gain even one thing. If even they cannot gain money, let them gain their health.
The campaign aligns the broader efforts to address healthcare accessibility in Cameroon, focusing on vulnerable groups who often struggle to afford medical attention.
And we swing to Yaoundé, where the elections management body, ELECAM, has called on the different stakeholders of the electoral process to make sure they collaborate for a credible presidential election come 2025. And this is coming at the second conclave of the stakeholders that take place in Yaoundé. Of course, bringing all those political parties and civil society organizations. Hyacinth Chair was part of that conclave and report. Management body that had a meeting with the different stakeholders of the electoral process to make sure they prepare for a credible election come 2025. And of course, this is a second meeting of the stakeholders known as the stakeholder dialogue. Hi, Cynthia.
A moment of consultation between the different stakeholders of the electoral process as the country prepares for the 2025 presidential polls.
Bon, la participation de tous les citoyens en âge de voter était essentielle
The participation of all is necessary. At the eve of election, it is important that we see how all stakeholders can address key issues.
Pour le violent, pour qu'il y ait une participation effective et juste.
And stepping into the dialogue forum this November 26 in Yaoundé, political leaders, persons with disabilities, journalists, civil society actors, among others, all have worries seeking to be addressed.
Many electors who were for us to know what happened and what is the solution election we come out with.
Who think that they have the monopoly of particular political opinions. We're seeing lots and lots also of hate speech and incitement to violence that is coming online and Lekam, but also
the amendment of the electoral code still a major concern for the opposition.
To make the modification of electoral coming to this meeting here.
Not forgetting measures to galvanize women massively take part in elections.
And we are calling all and involved to go and enroll on electoral lists as from the 1st of January until the convocation of the electoral board.
The dialogue is equally geared towards mitigating pre- and post-electoral conflicts.
Well, thanks very much, Hassan Chia. Sweeping reforms of the 2009 local tax law is set to reshape the way the tax are collected in the country, and the state is taking a center stage in managing local taxes. Of course, this move is aimed at boosting revenues, but of course raising concerns over municipal liquidity and autonomy. Ambo Gladys takes a look on that.
The local taxation system first to decentralized tax collection and administration. This new project now brings the state back into the spotlight, centralizing control over local taxes.
En transformant les centres divisionnaires des impôts.
By transforming the decentralized tax centers into centralized hubs for local and individual taxation, the state tax service will now oversee the entire process, tax-based management, recovery, litigation, and control of local taxes. This shift is designed to improve efficiency and increase the yields of local tax.
Des impôts locaux.
The state plans to achieve this by eliminating certain low-yield taxes, expanding the tax base, and introducing new dues that are expected to boost overall revenues. The major issue here is that municipalities, which previously collected certain taxes directly, will now rely on state services to transfer these funds.
Du fait de l'absence.
With the introduction of the materialization where tax declarations and payments are digitized, municipalities may face delays in accessing their funds, leaving them short of liquidity.
Parfois en mal de liquidité.
One of the most notable changes in the reform concerns the general synthesis tax, as the local development tax remains unchanged.
La taxe de développement local.
The local development tax in rate. A major change is the replacement of the pool tax with the general income tax, now covering simplified tax payment systems. It expands from 4 to 10 categories, with contributions reaching up to 2 million in the highest class.
2 millions pour la catégorie.
The broadened scope is expected to generate significant additional revenue for municipalities worth 126.4 billion francs CFA, doubling state resources in the previous years from 7.3% to at least 16%.
Following the death of a nursing mother and her 2 children, and of course, how the wife of the divisional officer of Idiabato kidnapped is sending a distress message to the First Lady for swift action to save the husband. Goodbye.